This is my module 4 video, and real quick we're just going to run through this code and I'll explain these right now. So we need a few libraries for our program to do certain things, like to be able to use this map and hash map scanner functionalities. We need to import those, and Java does a very good job to help you out knowing which ones they are. And this one here though, this one you have to download, and you will be able to find that link in my README file. But once you download that, you have to make sure that you have it referenced here in the libraries. So just to make sure that the program knows where you're looking for that file, I just placed it next to my project file, my Java file. Now going down through here, we're creating our variable here, our global variable, so that every single method in here can access this hash map and store items in the list. Our main function here will continue to run while the user is using the list. So here we're going to be displaying some options. We're calling the display options method, and that is down here. And as you can see, they're just strings. They can't be interacted with. But right after we do that, we are scanning the terminal for any entry that the user enters, and we're going to get that entry. And depending on what the user enters, 1 through 7 will perform an action. So 7 is just to go ahead and close the app. 1 is to open a list, 2 is to add a task, 3 to complete a task, 4 to delete a task, 5 to display the list, and 6 to save the task. And then anything else, we just throw an invalid entry error. So let's just talk about the open list. The open list will go ahead and make a parser so that when we get the file name from the user, it will grab that file, parse it, and add it into this list object. The list object then is converted to a string. And this was the easiest way for me to figure out how to manipulate the items in this object, because I want to have this information go into our hash map variable. So we turn it into a string, and then we turn it back into a string list where we store each even entry as a key and each odd entry as a variable, or as a value. And then if anything fails, we just say we cannot add empty items, because that would most likely be because the file was either not there or empty. So then going to the add task, and after opening and adding tasks, the display list will open. But now adding task, for whatever reason, we have to set a string to what we want something to be equal to. I found it odd, but here we're just adding things until the user says we don't want to add anymore. So we're scanning for their entry here. Here's our prompt. And then if the length of this is 0, as we show here, if it's greater than 0, then we do this. If it's less than 0, as in they don't enter anything, then we just say cannot add empty lines. So if it's equal to 1, we capitalize that to make sure that it'll be equal to our Q here to exit the program. If it doesn't equal that Q to exit, then we add whatever the user enters, and we assign that as a key, and then incomplete as the value. And then anything else is going to be false. Well, this is just to get out of this. So then to complete a task, we ask the user what task they want to complete, and then based on that task, we get the key from our hash map, and we change that from incomplete to complete. And if we can't find it in the list, we say that the task was not found. To delete a task, we again prompt the user for what the task to delete is. We'll get the next line, and then if that line is not empty, no, sorry. If we cannot find that task, whether it be empty or something that is just not in our hash map, then we will return this error or this message saying that the task was not found. And then if we do, though, we will remove that task and print out the task that was removed. Okay, and then here we are going to save the tasks, and again we're scanning for user entry for the file name. When we get that file name, we're creating a file writer so that we can write the list to the file. And here we're initiating the variable that we need to write the string to file, because again, Java does not support JSON files. I have to create a string in order to save it in the format of a JSON file. It's just kind of a manual thing. So here we're opening or writing to the file. We're saying what file we're wanting to write to. Then we're going to get the keys for everything in our hash map, and then we're going to iterate through those keys and replace certain values so that it can be formatted into our JSON format. And we're going to save all those things into our file, and then we're going to close the file, and if something goes wrong, we just say something went wrong. Now this display function here is just a simple display function. It'll iterate through the keys, and it'll display the key, and it'll display its value. So going back over here, we can see that after all that, when we select 7, we'll leave the program, we'll say a message, and then we'll close the program. So now let's go through and open this up. And let me extend this so we can see it better. Let's say we want to open a task, and I actually have a sample file here just so we can see it. And you can see I have some things here. We can go ahead and complete an item. We can say we did the laundry already, and we can display. You can see the laundry is now complete. We can delete an item. So let's delete the dishes because we don't like doing dishes. We don't want to do the dishes. So, and it just displays that we deleted it. That was more for testing. I'll have to delete that. If we go ahead and display it again, we can see that the dishes are gone. If we want to save it now, we can save it, and we can specify where we want it. So I could save it here in the same spot, but I'm going to save it in this source folder. So I'll say source / my list. And as you can see, oh, something went wrong. Oh, I know why. That's right. So my default path is to the source folder. So I just have to say my list, and I'm not in there anymore. So I save the task, and again my list. hit enter, you can see that my list was saved here. And I didn't have to set this folder to be my save to folder. I just did it that way, and I will show you where that is that I set it. And we'll go to the save tasks. You can see that I set this first initial path, so if I wanted to save it somewhere else, I would just have to do this kind of thing, but really you don't want to do that. You can change that if you want. And now that we're done, we'll just exit out and we see our goodbye message. And yeah, this is the project that I did. Thank you.